Hello, I'm Carmen and welcome back. I'm at Operation Food Search for today's episode of Cooking with Carmen. As part of our mission to heal hunger, Operation Food Search teaches families how to cook delicious food on a budget. Thank you for joining for the 8th episode. I have two guests on the show with me today. Both are on the FreshRx team here at Operation Food Search. My first guest is Brittany Stone. So Brittany is a registered dietitian and the manager of the clinical and the community nutrition. It's a mouthful. She oversees the food and nutrition components of FreshRx, including food distribution, overseeing the food squad, and providing nutrition counseling to participants. Brittany graduated from Mizzou and has worked in community nutrition for the past 10 years. Before working at Operation Food Search, she worked with area families through the WIC program and MU Extension. Welcome, Brittany.
Thanks for having me.
So can you please give our viewers a brief overview of the FreshRx Nourishing Healthy Starts program?
Sure. So FreshRx Nourishing Healthy Starts is a fresh food prescription program offered to pregnant women in the St. Louis area. Women receive fresh food for themselves and their families and get to work with the entire FreshRx team. So that's myself. As you mentioned, I'm a registered dietitian. We also have a care coordinator who's a social worker, Jenny Obercrom. We have a community chef who you're going to meet soon, and then our nutrition ambassador, Nasha Russ. So the women are identified based on answering a couple questions at their prenatal visit about having enough food for themselves and their families. And once we identify them, we do an initial enrollment visit. So our care coordinator, Jenny, works with them to identify additional resources that they may need, and as an extra support for them throughout their pregnancy. And then I get to work with them. We talk about food and nutrition and help to determine how they can adjust their food intake to meet their increased nutritional needs in pregnancy. We also provide them with cooking tools and pantry staples to make sure that they have what they need to have the basics to start cooking.
That's great. So how did you decide to focus on women who are pregnant?
That's a great question. We know that the prenatal period and earliest years of life have a major impact on long-term health. So offering support and resources along with healthy and delicious food each week throughout the pregnancy, we hope to see healthy moms and babies get off to a great start. In addition, pregnancy is a time when many moms are excited to learn how they could improve their own health and that of their families. When we see healthy maternal and infant outcomes, we often see reduction in healthcare costs as well. So we're hoping for a win-win. So far, we've enrolled 89 women into the FreshRx program. And we've seen that the average gestational age for our babies is 38 and a half weeks, which is full term. So that's great. And also the rate of preterm birth and low birth weight babies is much lower than that of the general St. Louis region. And our first FreshRx baby was turning 1 during the same week we launched our meal kits in December, which was just this past year, 6 months ago.
That's so exciting. So thank you so much for sharing that information. So we're actually going to go ahead into the kitchen with Chef Rudy, who's our next guest. Let me pull up the slide here. So Brittany Rudy, or as we call her, Chef Rudy, is the FreshRx community chef. Chef Rudy develops the seasonal menus for the FreshRx meal kits and heads up the culinary components of FreshRx. She is a graduate of Cordon Bleu College of Culinary Arts in Chicago and has worked as a professional chef in restaurants in St. Louis and abroad for over 10 years. She is currently working on a Bachelor of Science degree in Nutrition and Dietetics at St. Louis University. So welcome, Chef Rudy.
Hi, Carmen. Thanks for having me. So today we're going to highlight ingredients from the summer growing season for the recipe today. We're making a cantaloupe salad. I know putting fruit in a salad might seem a little crazy to some, but it's a perfect way to add a little zest to any salad.
Yum, I love adding fruit to salad, and I think cantaloupe just screams summer. But I'm excited to see this dish come together, so I'm going to pass it on over to you.
Thanks. So for the salad today, we have lettuce, spinach, tomatoes, cantaloupe, onion, cucumber, and chicken. Now before you get started, it's important to wash all of your produce before you start cutting them. Even things with hard rinds like this cantaloupe, dirt can be on the outside of it, and as you cut into it, you'll pull that dirt to the inside, and then you're going to eat that dirt, and nobody wants to do that. So just take a good vegetable scrubber brush like this, and then scrub the outside of it under running water. I've already scrubbed this one, so we're ready to go. You want to make sure that you secure your cutting board with a damp paper towel underneath so it doesn't slide around. Helps you keep your hands safe while you're cutting. So the best way to cut a cantaloupe, if you take it and put both ends and cut through one end and then through the other, and then you have this flat surface now. And then you can put it on the flat surface and then cut all around the side and trim the hard rind off. You want to make sure that you get past through the green skin. So once you're done with it, you're just left with this like perfect orange ball. And then it's super easy to cut in half from there and get all of the seeds out from the inside. And then you can cut it into little cubes. So all of these little seeds, you just take a spoon and scoop them out. It's super easy. This is something that you could have the kids do to keep them entertained with it and also to help them get into cooking more and then eating more fruits and vegetables. So once you have it, all your seeds out, you can stand it up and then cut it again. And now you have this part, oops, there's a little bit there. And you can cut it lengthwise like this. And then if you rotate it, cut it into little bite-sized cubes. And it's perfect for the salad now. So I've already cut up some here. So we're all set to go for the cantaloupe. And then I'll just save this aside for snacks for later. So now that all of the produce is cut, we're going to start to make the marinade for the chicken.
So that is a great tip on cutting the cantaloupe. I get a lot of people that don't know how to cut a cantaloupe, and it can be daunting because it's this round thing that you have to cut the skin off of. So that was a great tip. So you mentioned you were about to marinate the chicken. So I often marinate my meat before I cook it. Can you explain to our viewers the benefits of a good marinade?
So marinating the meat not only adds flavor to the chicken, but it also tenderizes it. A basic marinade will always have three main components. You're going to have oil, which helps keep the meat moist. You can use any oil. You can use olive, canola, vegetable, sunflower, whatever you have on hand. And then you also are going to have an acid. For today, we're using lemon juice, but the acid tenderizes the meat. And then you want to have spices, herbs, or other vegetables. They help add flavorings to the meat. So in a medium bowl, we are going to combine 1 tablespoon of oil to keep the meat moist, the juice of 1 lemon to tenderize it, 2 tablespoons of fresh chopped parsley, 1 teaspoon of sage, a half a teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon of black pepper, or a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. And then we're just going to stir this together, get it all mixed well, and then we're going to add our chicken breast to it. Super simple, really easy, just a few ingredients, and it's a great way to add a little something extra to your meat. So we're going to let this sit and work its magic for about 10 minutes or so, and then we'll start to cook it on the stove over medium-high heat with just a little bit of oil in the pan.
Oop, awesome. So while you're cooking that chicken, I am going to come over with Brittany Rudy again. So we're going to talk a little bit more about the FreshRx department. So earlier in the show, you talked about how the women receive fresh food for themselves and their families in the form of a weekly meal kit. So can you describe this FreshRx meal kit?
Sure. Well, the FreshRx meal kit is similar to some of those popular meal kits offered by companies. You might have heard of like Blue Apron and HelloFresh. So we provide our families with a box each week that contains 3 meals, similar to what you're seeing today. That's being prepared by Chef Rudy. And they also get recipes to go along with those meals. Each meal is separated in different bags, which contain all the ingredients to prepare that meal. And the meals are tested in advance. We've developed them on a seasonal calendar, and we incorporate many items from local farms to help support our local food economy and provide our families with delicious food. We initially started FreshRx in partnership with an organization called FairShares CCSA. And through FairShares, we provided a food share, and they received local and fresh and seasonal food such as meat, grains, dairy, fruit and veggies. And we sought regular feedback from our families. And in the process, we learned that having all the components for the individual recipes would make things a lot easier for them. So through recipe testing, surveys, trial and error, we were able to build out simple recipes that rotate on a seasonal menu.
I'm happy to say I have recipe tested them as well, so they're always delicious. So can you explain how the families receive their meal kits?
Sure, yeah, everything is done here in-house at Operation Food Search. So we stock items on site. We order produce, meat, and dairy each week. The food that comes from local farms often gets harvested on Mondays, delivered here on Tuesdays, and every Wednesday morning we pack food that goes out to our family. So actually some of our colleagues are doing that for Rudy this morning. We set up an assembly line of sorts to get the family's food packed and loaded, and the last step is delivery. Our nutrition ambassador, Nasha, who I mentioned earlier, is our delivery driver. So she was actually the first graduate from our program, and so she therefore adds an extra layer of support for our family since she's experienced the program and utilizing the food, and just is a friendly face that they get to see every week. So she delivers the food house to house. That transportation for most of our families has been a huge obstacle, and so having her deliver the food has been a really important component of the program. They receive the food, the families receive the food each week through pregnancy, and they can stay in the program until 2 months postpartum, and we've actually also developed an alumni program so they can continue on beyond that, so that we can continue a relationship and they can continue to receive the food.
That's awesome. That's such a cool program, and I'm really happy to be here, seeing it all come to life. So much for sharing. So we're actually going to head back into the kitchen with Chef Rudy to see what's going on with the cantaloupe salad.
Hi, welcome back. So it looks like our chicken is done cooking.
Awesome. So earlier you were talking about how you should wash your hands after touching raw chicken. Can you show us how to check the temperature of the chicken?
Yes. So after I was done working with the chicken, I did wash my hands, as Carmen mentioned. I forgot to mention that. So you want to make sure that you check your chicken properly with a meat thermometer. You always want to put it in the thickest part of the meat, and make sure that your thermometer comes up to 165 degrees whenever you're cooking chicken. So ours is at 165 degrees. You want to make sure that that you don't eat undercooked meat, because if you do, then you open yourself up for a risk of getting a foodborne illness, and sometimes they can be pretty serious cases. And since we work primarily with pregnant moms, we take food safety very importantly here. So now we're going to make a ranch style salad dressing, but instead of using buttermilk, I'm going to trade it out for some Greek yogurt.
Yum. I love making homemade salad dressing because I think with a homemade dressing, you're kind of in control of the ingredients. So you get to flavor it how you like, but a lot of those pre-made dressings contain higher amounts of fat or salt or added sugars. So can you explain why you're swapping the buttermilk for Greek yogurt?
So not only is Greek yogurt more commonly found in stores, but it also adds a smooth, creamy texture to the dressing, along with extra nutrients like more protein, which is needed during pregnancy. So I like to use Greek yogurt in a lot of our recipes for our moms because it's a great way to sneak in that extra protein that a pregnant mom needs so much. So this salad dressing has Greek yogurt, fresh chives, garlic powder, onion powder, salt, and black pepper. So for the chives, they're really easy to cut. I know it looks like kind of daunting sometimes, but if you just grab them together and hold them in a nice, neat little pile, and then you just run your knife through like this, and it makes it super simple to cut. And now you have perfect little cut chives. So in a mixing bowl, we're going to take our half a cup of Greek yogurt and our 2 tablespoons of fresh chives. And then the spices, we have a half a teaspoon of each garlic powder, onion powder, and salt, and a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. If you like your dressings a little bit thinner, you can always add like lemon juice or something to it. I like mine a little bit on the thick side, so I'm not going to add any lemon juice today. So you just mix it until it's all incorporated, and here you have it, a quick, simple homemade salad dressing. So now that our chicken is cooked and we let it rest for a minute, we're going to cut it. You can cut it into slices, you can cut it into cubes, however you prefer. If your kids like to eat like chicken tenders, then you can keep it in slices, or if they're really picky and they only want little tiny cubes, then cut it in cubes. We're gonna slice it today for our salad. It's just super simple. You can see how moist it is on the cutting board. So for our salad, we have the lettuce and spinach, which you can toss everything together in a bowl and cover it with the dressing until it's all coated and everything. Or you can keep the components separate and plate it individually. So like if you have a picky eater that won't eat onions, then they won't have to worry about picking out the onions in it. So you just put the salad toppings on, and then we have our sliced onions and our cucumbers, and then our grape tomatoes that are cut in half, and our chicken slices. So some kids might just like to eat the chicken, and then they can dip the vegetables in the ranch dressing. You just top it with a little dressing. And here you have it, a quick and light dinner, perfect for a summer night.
That looks beautiful and so colorful. And I really love the cantaloupe on there. And people like think that you can't really add that fruit to salad like you talked about, but strawberries and blueberries and pineapple are all delicious on a salad. But this cantaloupe salad just screams summer to me. So I'm really happy that I'm here at Operation Food Search and I can try some of this after the show. Thank you so much. Do you guys have any final thoughts to share with our viewers?
Yes, we are excited to announce that we've started a new partnership. So over the course of the program, we've been working with the OB Care Center at DePaul Hospital, and just recently we started a pilot with Home State Health. They're a Medicaid managed care plan in Missouri, and we're able to get referrals directly from their case managers, and we're looking at a new way to reach moms in the St. Louis area and down the road, potentially also across the state. So we're excited to see how we can make a bigger impact through this program and reach more families.
That is so exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you. We're excited.
Me and Chef Rudy for such an informative presentation. I'm so glad you were able to join me today.
Thank you, Carmen.
All right, well, I hope you enjoyed today's show. Remember to like our page if you haven't already, and comment below if you have any questions or if you made today's recipes. You can visit our website to learn more about our work at Operation Food Search and also to learn more about the FreshRx program. I'm looking forward to seeing you all in 2 weeks with another episode. So stay healthy and happy Wednesday.